Never stopped fighting for justice. The homegoing service of Reverend Jesse Jackson. This Friday, live starting at 8 a.m. Pacific, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. It gets dark sometimes, but the morning comes. Don't you surrender. You hold on and hold out. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, oh, come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA, Talk 1580, download the app.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host. And for Jesse Jr., you're listening to KBLA Talk 80. And listen. I want to make you hear it loud and clear that you are invited to join us in the homegoing service of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. We're going to be broadcasting it live here on KBLA Talk 1580 this Friday, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific. And so we're going to be up bright and early to broadcast the homegoing services of Reverend Jackson. And so for the folks who are unable to turn out in Chicago to see it, for the folks that are in California, where our home station is located, and for folks that are a part of our community of leaders, learners, and listeners across the nation, we want everyone to feel connected to this very precious moment, this very important moment, not just to Black America, but to all of America, because Reverend Jackson represented so much for so many. And so please be sure to download the KBLA app to be able to listen to us live. You can also subscribe to our KBLA YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that you can tap in that way. And because we're fancy like that, you can also tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580 on Friday morning, and we will patch you in to the homegoing services of Reverend Jackson. Now, there's so much happening in the world, from Iran to Texas and beyond. You know, today is election day in Texas, and all eyes are on this Senate race that has seemed to have dominated headlines. Representative Jasmine Crockett is facing off with James Tallarico in today's Democratic primary. A lot of folks are going to be paying extra close attention to turnout in Dallas County and Harris County, and some key Democratic strongholds across the state of Texas. If this social media post that I saw this morning, I saw a social media post from a pretty big time donor activist in Texas who had been supporting Mr. Tallarico from the very beginning, basically put up a post, saying, look, he thinks that both Mr. Tallarico and Representative Crockett are strong candidates, and got ahead of things and said, look, if either one of them pulls it out, he's going to be the first one in line to help them win in November by raising money and organizing support. And so this is a donor activist that I certainly have known for many years, and I've never seen them put up a social media post like that. And so if that's any indication, this race for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate in Texas could be quite close. And so we're going to be watching that closely. A lot of folks watching the military action on the part of the United States and Israel. A lot of people are watching that closely in Iran right now. I don't know if the folks that are tapped in now have been paying extra close attention to this, but there are reports that the U.S. has shut some of the Gulf embassies and are warning now of a prolonged war with Iran. Now, wait a minute. It's amazing how quickly we went from something that was supposed to be quick and simple to something that could be a prolonged war with Iran. We know that Trump's MAGA base is balking at this war with Iran versus his America First promise. And we're going to unpack all of this hour and next with our very special guest. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable, all month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat.
Listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte in for Jesse Jackson Jr. You all can typically find me weekdays, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, hosting a More Perfect Union, or you might have heard me serving as White House correspondent for KBLA. It is a delight to be here, standing in the gap on behalf of our friend and brother, Jesse Jackson Jr., and standing in the gap, not by myself. I'm delighted to welcome our guest this hour, Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer, the eldest daughter of the late Reverend Dr. Melvin and Mrs. Elizabeth Floyd, one of Philadelphia's best known ministers for their impactful street ministry of over 45 years. Bishop Palmer is sworn, she's sworn Special Deputy Lieutenant of Philadelphia Sheriff's Office and a certified international chaplain. Bishop Palmer, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Great to be with you here, Doctor. How are you?
I'm well. Good afternoon, and it's great to be with you. It's great to be with you, especially considering, all the news that is afoot around the world. I want to start with your work as an international chaplain. There are many people today that are praying for peace. They're praying for peace in Iran. They're praying for peace throughout the Middle East, throughout the world. And I really want to give you an opportunity to weigh in as an international chaplain, given the very disturbing news that we learned this weekend about the military strike in Iran, this war with Iran. At this hour, we know the U.S. has shut some Gulf embassies, and they're warning of a prolonged war with Iran. So we went in under the idea that it's going to be quick and easy. Now, just days later, we're hearing from the president and other U.S. officials that this may very well be a prolonged war with Iran.
Let me begin by saying, first of all, I want to certainly extend prayers and sincere condolences to the troops that have already been killed that served in the United States military. Those families probably did not see this coming no more than we did when the war was announced. As an international chaplain, one of the things that you get to see is the worst of times and sometimes the best of times. And what you as a faith leader have to be able to do is to provide words of comfort, a compassionate heart, a listening ear, and a certain sense of understanding despite your personal political views that extended to those that are traumatized by the violence that occurs whenever a war happens. A person who serves in a war is not by themselves. They leave family, they leave friends, they leave their environment, their jobs often. They leave a whole community that is impacting by their absence, who is daily praying to whatever God they call and how they call it, that they will be able to return home. I have lived in my time now at 62, having seen, the Gulf War, and I know others that were involved in the war in Iraq and how we prayed for them to return and that the Lord would have a safety net around them and all who were defending democracy, no matter where it was. So in this moment in time, faith seems to be the tightest thing one can hold on to. Whatever your faith may be, however you may find comfort in God or a higher being, you do cling to that which you know, and you have a hope and a belief that prayers will be heard and that at the end of the matter, the victory will come when they get back home. So having done this nationally, locally, nationally, and internationally, the call is the same to no matter who the persons are. Because here in the streets of Philadelphia, it could be the slain body of a young man. And I have to be able to comfort that mother. The death of a police officer killed in the line of duty, or a firefighter who's severely injured, who rushes in where angels fear to tread. No different than it is nationally when we hear about others that face traumatic experiences. The whole incident in Austin, Texas this past weekend, and the shooting that occurred for folks who were just simply having a great time. Mass shootings are also another way. And then internationally, for those that have been in war, the war in Ukraine, that's still ongoing. And then you have, what has happened with Israel and now with the Middle East and what's occurring in Iran. So it is important that those of us that have the faith can express it in a way that will bring comfort. And I can tell you that in moments of grief or despair or sadness, that they want to hear something that will make them feel better than what they feel. That comfort is like a great grandma or a grandmama who holds us and says, everything gonna be all right, baby. It's that sense of comfort that oftentimes we rely on to get us through the tough times.
Bishop Palmer, I feel comforted just hearing you share some of your initial thoughts. And so I can only imagine the folks that you minister to, how quickly they begin to feel the love and the compassion and the care that you find a way to burrow into almost every word you speak. I want to give you an opportunity to speak directly to our leaders, learners, and listeners that are now watching their family members of their community being shipped off to the Gulf. I recently saw an interview that Senator Warner of Virginia gave to CNN, where he talked about being on the ground in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, and where recently there was an aircraft carrier that was deployed to the region, to the Gulf region. And we're hearing from this president, we're hearing from other senior U.S. officials that there will be casualties related to this war with Iran. That means that we pray not, but that means it's quite possible that people's loved ones may not return to these shores alive. And so what is your message to family members that are still beginning to grapple with why their loved ones are being sent off this war, that other senior leaders in our government are saying this effort was not necessary?
Well, let me just say this, that having served publicly in law enforcement and those that choose the military life, we understand the risk. We also understand that if called to act, we will. That is a choice. The pride that the family should feel is that someone is willing to personally choose to defend their country, their state through national leadership, and even their city. And that when they choose to stand in harm's way, it does not always mean that they will return. There is not an oath that one that is in public service, particularly in service, that recognizes that they could walk out the door and not come back home. That's met daily by police and fire and others who are in the line of duty for our local areas, for our national areas with the National Guard. But for our military, we're not able to just reach out and touch them. The sad difference is that if they die during wartime, it's not about the compensation or even all of the military honors that come with it. It's the fact that I'm not able to really hold my beloved, and I'm not able to get close to them. I'm not able to understand and see the reality of the choices that they made. I have been to several military funerals from times past where there have either been incidents or accidents. And when that casket comes off that plane, there is a reality of not only the death, but not always a finality. You know, we as a people, we like closure. And because it may be sealed and you can't open it because you don't know what's inside, you know, we wonder, is it really mine? Those kinds of things do come across us. So the person to whom they are with has to be able to be confident in knowing that, one, this is what they chose to do. Number two, they were willing to defend it so that you would have certain freedoms. And for those that may be drafted, because there is an opportunity that this could activate the selective service. I'm concerned myself. I have 2 younger sons that could easily be drafted into the service to defend this nation. And so for those of us that are sitting on the sidelines saying when or where or how, we have to have the faith to know that, one, that they're going to do it with fidelity. And they're going to do it with integrity, and that they are representing those left behind in the best possible way with the honor that comes with it. It's not always the most sexy feeling. It's not always the most embracing feeling, but there is a pride that comes when a family recognizes that they have a loss, and then the manner in which they lost that gives them that sense of comfort. I'm proud of them. So not only is it just the act, it is the follow-up. And I always say to families, and this is something I say uniformly, whether locally or anywhere else, the name that you have been given, represent it well. If your beloved has left, grandma, mom, whoever it is, represent her well by carrying on the principles and the legacy that she instilled in you. And we, as those that remain, have to do the same and never let their name be forgotten.
Yeah, I think in this moment, as America on its better days is reflective of our 250-year history as a nation, 250 years following the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The folks in Philly know what I'm talking about quite well. As we celebrate and commemorate the 100th anniversary of Black History Week turned Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
This is a moment for us to do that look back and look forward with honesty, with integrity, and for a lot of folks, this moment that we find our in is reminding us of other times in our nation's history where we have launched into a military intervention, a military strike, a military attack, a war of choice. Choice.
Yes, sir.
And, the international community is not applauding what has happened. There are a number of folks that I'm sure would agree that there are leaders of many nations out there that are authoritarian. There are leaders that are dictators. There are leaders that have consolidated power and are not interested in promoting the principles of a healthy democracy. But the way in which those unseated matters. Seems to me that the way we have gone about getting rid of leaders that our current government doesn't like, I'm talking about President Maduro in Venezuela, I'm talking about the Ayatollah who has now been killed in Iran. It seems to undermine the moral authority that we once had or believed that we had, that moral authority when we're at the table with the Russians and the Ukrainians, when we're at the table with the Chinese and the Taiwanese. And so when we come forward, I want to get your reaction to that as someone who is a peace ambassador, who's a deputy chief governor as a part of the International Consulting Council, very prestigious positions within the United Nations, the international body that still matters. I want to get your reaction to this and your take on the undermining of our moral authority as a nation and how we might overcome that. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer when we come forward.
It's Afternoon Drive Time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Midterm primaries are underway with Texas in the spotlight. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn could face Attorney General Ken Paxton in a GOP runoff.
Republican primary voters are going to need to decide, do we want to win? Do we want to keep Texas red?
On the Democratic side, Black Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Texas State Representative James Tallarico are in a tight race. Women's pro tennis is returning to Memphis this summer. Tennis Memphis and the city are launching the Memphis Classic, a Women's Tennis Association 250-level tournament at Lethbridge Tennis Center from July 25th to August 2nd. Black Mayor Paul Young says the event could bring in more than $1 million in economic impact. And 4 adult siblings have filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles federal court against the estate of Michael Jackson, alleging sex trafficking and abuse when they were children. The siblings claim some incidents occurred in the homes of Elizabeth Taylor and Elton John. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers bounced back from a 17-point deficit in the third quarter Monday night at Golden State and pulled away for a 114-101 victory. Kawhi Leonard led the Clippers with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Darius Garland made his Clippers debut Monday night. Garland had 12 points in 23 minutes off the bench. Garland had been sidelined with a foot injury since the February 5th trade that brought him from Cleveland in exchange for James Harden. Garland is on a minutes restriction. When he's cleared by the Clippers medical staff to get more playing time, he will become the team's new starting point guard. The Clippers are home Wednesday against Indiana. The Lakers are back in action tonight against New Orleans at Crypto.com. The Lakers appear to have found some rhythm in their offense. They won their last 2 games by an average margin of 26 points. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the Southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300. or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, in for Jesse Jackson Jr. Just while we've been on air, we're learning that Trump is saying that there are new strikes targeting Iranian leadership. At this hour, this is what we know. The U.S. consulate in Dubai has been impacted. The grounds of the U.S. consulate in Dubai were struck by a suspected Iranian drone. The U.S. had earlier closed embassies in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Lebanon, and warned Americans to leave some countries in the region. President Trump said that most of Iran's military installations have been knocked out and that new strikes today targeted Iranian leadership. Israel also struck a compound belonging to a group responsible for electing Iran's next supreme leader. At this hour, at least 780 people have been killed by U.S. bombing across Iran.
My Lord.
780 people. The price of gasoline in the U.S. just had its largest one-day increase since 2005 as vessels have effectively stopped going through the critical Strait of Hormuz. Oil continued to rise and stocks are falling. We are just days in. U.S.-Israeli-led attack on Iran with no end in sight. And before the break, I was asking our guest this hour, Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer, to reflect on the undermining of U.S. credibility, U.S. moral authority in terms of how the United States has gone into Iran. We've heard former Vice President Kamala Harris in her public statement calling this President Trump's war of choice. We're hearing from leaders on Capitol Hill, particularly in the Senate, that didn't have to be this way. We didn't have to go down this road. Senator Warner of Virginia saying as much. Bishop Palmer, talk to us about where do we go from here in terms of resuscitating any moral authority that would have us be able to bring together the global community to advance the principles of democracy, to advance the freedoms and liberties that so many folks in Iran and other parts of the world have been denied in a way that does not bring about global instability, but in fact does the opposite.
Well, let me just start off by saying, in our Pledge of Allegiance, there was one phrase that should be setting and helping us to maintain the moral compass for which America was founded on. One nation under God. And what that said to me when I started to recite it and learn it was that whatever it is we do it, one, with fairness, two, for the right reason. I'm going to say something that's really old school. My great grandmother would say to me, baby, it ain't what you say, and it ain't what you do, but it's how you do it. Clearly, there are some places around the world and people are suffering and have been under authoritative people for years. Certainly, there are needs and times where the people can rise up and say, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. Can you help us? I think in this manner, the question becomes, did we really have to jump into this, a war of choice led by our commander-in-chief? What are the benefits that are coming from it? At the end of the day, what is the agenda? And I believe that when folks don't understand the reason or the right or the agenda, it brings about confusion. It also causes us to become divisive with each other when we really should be united. I'm old enough to recall a time when we heard about WMDs from a very well-known Secretary of State, African-American brother, who we had great respect for, Colin Powell. It came to mind to me when he got up and made a statement. There are weapons of mass destruction, so we need to go into this war. And it turned out that one, there were no weapons of mass destruction, and two, he was the face of one who told a lie. People want to believe in their leadership. Whether it is your boss, the company you work for, you want to have faith and trust that they're going to lead and guide you right. Even in disciplinary actions, you want the same in the church or your faith leadership. You don't want them to get up there and talk a whole bunch of smack. They, one, don't believe, and two, they're selling you propaganda. The same thing is for those of us who are citizens of these United States. We need to believe our commander-in-chief. And at the time, I believe it was President Bush who caused that to happen. And it was a mark on a man who had lived his entire life with integrity. And it only takes one mistake that people don't ever want to forget. They forget all the good you do, but they remember the last big one you made. So in this moment, people are doubting why. Why so suddenly? What is the purpose? What is it going to do for the United States? Who are we truly helping? How is that going to strengthen our alliance? What is your agenda? And I think when agendas are not clear, besides, I'm a bully or I'm powerful and I can do it, that's not always a selling point, because maybe you and I both know, doctor, that you might have had a bully in your class, but they always had a crowd. They weren't much of a bully when they were by themselves.
That's right.
So we can't continue to have that mentality when people are looking to the most moral, the most integritous, the most trustworthy nation in the world. And people are starting to scratch their heads.
That's right.
What that is doing for our standing in the United States will long live beyond this moment. And that's something we should really kind of ponder.
And I think you're absolutely right. And we can't look away. I mean, we've got to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. And I'm sure you were following, the off-year elections as closely as we have been following here at KBLA. And, we know that the buzz term was affordability. A lot of folks are looking at their bank accounts. They're trying to stretch dollars as far and wide as they possibly can. And so many people can feel it in every, sector of our economy. And affordability was the thing that was on the minds of a lot of folks who showed up at the polls in these off-year elections. What's happening in Iran is not divorced from the very serious questions people have about our leadership and creating opportunities for social and economic mobility, making America more affordable. When we come forward, I want to play a game of Connect the Dots with you.
Okay.
Or if you will indulge me.
Certainly, sir.
Connect the dots between what's happening in Iran and what's happening in folks' pocketbooks. Whether you voted for this president, this administration or not, this impacts us all. More with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
What if your rooftop could earn you money every year? With LADWP's Solar Rooftops program, you can get solar panels installed and maintained on your home at no cost and earn up to $900 a year. That's up to $18,000 over 20 years. There are no upfront costs, no credit checks, and no annual fees. Plus, you'll help power Los Angeles with clean local solar energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Make your rooftop work for you. Apply today at ladwp.com/solar rooftops.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at WootenCenter.org. That's WootenCenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Cordelide Forte, and really feeling fed by this very special conversation, timely conversation with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer. Bishop, thank you for being here on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Thank you for feeding us food for thought, food to pray over as our country finds itself at a crossroads. Before the break, I had asked you if you would indulge me in playing a game of Connect the Dots, connecting the dots for our audience between what's happening in Iran and what's happening at folks' kitchen tables. They are not mutually exclusive. And I think it's important that we cut through the noise as much as we can to clarify what people should be paying attention to, and more importantly, how it affects them. And what agency we can use to make our views and voices heard.
Well, you were talking about connecting the dots, so I guess I'm waiting to see how you want to do that. But let me just say that between the SNAP benefits, now the rising costs of fuel due to this war and other things, people are hurting. And as a pastor, and those that are even in my congregation with jobs, they're willing to stand in food lines. They're also willing to humble themselves while wearing their work badges to say, I need a little extra. I concern myself about the seniors who are choosing to use cat food mixed with oodles and noodles so they can survive, because there's a choice between their medicine and food. And so this is the devastation that hits even America, because not everyone is in that 1%, 2%, 3% where money is not an object. There is a high poverty rate, even here in the city of Philadelphia, with the increased homelessness and those that are below level of really living. They don't even have a livable wage to be able to afford almost nothing. And so with the threat of what's going to happen in Medicare, what's going to happen with prescription drugs, what's going to happen to people being able to exist even in a space, it's really going to cause us as a people to become more resilient. Now, listen, we've weathered a whole lot in our history. And even no matter how much we might have been pressed down, we've always managed to back up. So it might mean that we're going to have to make some truances. We're going to have to make some trysts. We're going to have to come together and cohabitate under the same roof. We're going to have to make some adjustments for our own survival day to day so that we can have that. But in doing so, it's going to cause us to really be more resilient and not do it without caring for those that don't have. It's important now that compassion and kindness is extended, because you really don't know what people are going through. And although they may look good, they dress up nice, they got a great smile and a great profile, they're truly hurting, not only from loss of grief, but fear of how will I make it. I know one thing for sure and two for certain, that God does not put on us anything that we cannot bear. He didn't say it wasn't coming. He just said that we can endure it. And being able to endure it means we have to push and press forward. And we have to align ourselves and be united to help others. And those of us that have, it's okay if you give up a little. God's going to bless you anyway. And that's a blessing to others as well.
Yeah. Bishop, in our remaining minutes, I want to give you an opportunity to just share with us a short story or some of the lessons that we can glean from the relationship that your father, the late Reverend Dr. Melvin, had with the late Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., a relationship that runs very deep and has endured for a very long time.
Absolutely. As you can see, my father and Jesse Jackson were America's 10 Outstanding Young Men in 1969. And shortly thereafter, when Reverend Jackson came, my father and him had a really laughable kind of time together. And every time I saw him when he hit Philadelphia, I would run up and my father would say, "Hey," and he would say, "How you doing, little one?" And intermittently, not always being around, because kids couldn't be around grown folks, if you understand. But I would always pensively sit in the corner and watch and see the interaction that he really applauded my father for the work that he did during the gang wars here in Philadelphia and the cessation of same. And my father applauded his bold stance for willing to go out there and say, "Hey, America needs better." And so even though they were not necessarily in the same way, they had their own way of being able to make things better for the people. And he was willing to sacrifice his life. He walked away from a fluid career and he just went 100% in the streets to save Black young men and girls' lives. And so I applaud my dad, of course. I love him much. He's resting in glory. And now maybe him and Reverend Jackson are sitting by the cool of the water and the crystal sea, slapping each other, and they're saying, "I didn't think you made it. No, I didn't think you made it. Oh boy, both of us made it." And just having a good time in glory because they have both done well. And I certainly want to extend to the family my heartfelt condolences and sympathies, because this connects a dot from when I was a little girl even to now, and to be able to have a collegial relationship with the congressman and being able to support the family. And so please know that if ever needed, I'm here and I'll be able to always be a support, because look, it began with our daddies. We got to continue it. Second generation, even third generation. Why let it stop? We must be able to do the same thing in our own way and be able to represent the legacy that has been afforded to both of us.
I mean, it is a rich legacy. The ministry of Reverend Dr. Melvin Floyd, the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.
Yes.
Legacies that were rich, that endured. These are two, giants of the civil rights movement that did it their way. Your father leading an impactful street ministry for over 45 years. It's been around for over 45 years in Philadelphia. And of course, we are all well steeped in the rich legacy of Reverend Jackson. I want to encourage all of our leaders, learners, and listeners, our audience, to check out the Bishop Mary Show. It is live on Mondays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Lots of interesting guests, lots of intriguing conversation on WWDB 860 AM. You can also go to bishopmary.com to tap into all the wonderful work that she is leading and supporting. Bishop, we appreciate you so very much for making the time for us.
Thank you, Doctor. And I certainly want to thank the invitation being extended to me and to, of course, Ms. Gina, my Greek sister, and to all of those that made it available for me to do it in any time that you might need me to help, hope, or even join in conversation. I will avail of myself. Certainly continue to pray for the Jesse Jackson family. God bless you. You were a delight today.
Amen.
Thank you for filling in for your brother.
You were also a delight, and thank you for feeding me and feeding all of us. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host. More when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Midterm primaries are underway with Texas in the spotlight. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn could face Attorney General Ken Paxton in a GOP runoff.
Republican primary voters are going to need to decide, do we want to win? Do we want to keep Texas red?
On the Democratic side, Black Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Texas State Representative James Tallarico are in a tight race. Women's pro tennis is returning to Memphis this summer. Tennis Memphis and the city are launching the Memphis Classic, a Women's Tennis Association 250-level tournament at Lethbridge Tennis Center from July 25th to August 2nd. Black Mayor Paul Young says the event could bring in more than $1 million in economic impact. And 4 adult siblings have filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles federal court against the estate of Michael Jackson, alleging sex trafficking and abuse when they were children. The siblings claim some incidents occurred in the homes of Elizabeth Taylor and Elton John. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Middle East conflict between the United States and Iran has generated major concerns in the women's basketball community here in the U.S. 3 former players from the University of South Carolina, including Destiny Littleton, who played 1 season at USC here in L.A., are trapped in Jerusalem, where they are playing in a professional league. Since the conflict started on Saturday, air travel in and out of Jerusalem and throughout Israel has been shut down. Because Israel joined the U.S. in the battle against Iran, Iran has been firing missiles into Israel. Littleton posted a message on social media on Monday saying she could hear bombs falling in the distance. She and the 2 other U.S. players are staying at a teammate's house and staying indoors. The players and other U.S. citizens are stuck in Israel until commercial air travel resumes, and that could be a while. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the Art of Conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it? Yeah, man.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Cordelon today. Filling in for Jesse Jackson Jr. It's even possible to fill in for Jesse Jackson Jr. I am typically on KBLA Talk 1580 weekdays, Monday through Thursday, from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, as host and White House correspondent for A More Perfect Union. And it's a delight to be able to do double duty and support our friend and brother Jesse Jackson Jr. Not only as he mourns the loss of his father, civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., but as he travels the country with his father. Last I checked, he was in South Carolina, and there were thousands of people that were lined up to pay their respect to Reverend Jackson. This is a reminder that Reverend Jackson will be coming home to Chicago tonight, and we will be right there in Chicago on the ground paying our respects to Reverend Jackson. In fact, we will be broadcasting his homegoing services on Friday starting at 8 a.m. Pacific right here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'll be on the ground along with Tavis Smiley as a part of that coverage. Again, it will we'll be broadcasting starting at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central. And so that's why you got to download the KBLA app to be able to listen to us live, or you can go on to YouTube, go onto our YouTube channel. You should already be subscribed if you haven't already to KBLA, our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to sort of to hear and experience the homegoing services of Reverend Jackson through that avenue. Last but not least, you can even tell Alexa if you're feeling fancy to play KBLA Talk 1580, and that will patch you right on in to those homegoing services. I'm really delighted to welcome our guest this hour, one of which is on the ground in Texas as we speak. Mrs. Barbara Arnwine, president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and internationally renowned for her contributions on critical justice issues, including the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1991 and the 2006 reauthorization of provisions of the Voting Rights Act. We know that voting rights have been under attack for some time now. And earlier today, I received a message that in Texas, there was a little bit of confusion, particularly in Dallas County. There are reports that according to the Texas Democratic Party, almost 1/3 of voters in Williamson and Dallas County are being denied the chance to vote because they're confused about where to go, a situation that some folks say was created by Republicans choosing not to conduct countywide unified joint primaries. We're going to get the full scoop from Barbara Arnwine, who is on the ground in Texas. Miss Barbara, are you there?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Any top lines you can offer us right now on the ground in Texas?
Yes. First of all, the Texas turnout has been incredible. They, by the end of early voting, had already almost doubled what had been the prior total voting for the last primary. It is telling that people are just so ready. And I've gotten reports on the ground in Houston that lines are deep and long, but that people are in good spirits, that they're determined to vote here in Dallas and Tarrant, and especially in Tarrant County, where I was earlier today. People are reporting that they have voted early, and that's consistent with what we know about Black voters. If you give African American voters the opportunity to vote early, almost 70 to 80% of all Black voters will vote early. Why is that? Because of our working circumstances. Why is that? Because of the history of voter disenfranchisement on election day, such as what you're hearing about. Where are the polling places? Have they moved the polling places? I want to contrast for everybody listening. All of this has to do with what your voting rules, regulations, and procedures are locally. The problem you're hearing about where's my specific assigned polling spot? First of all, there's no national law requiring that such a thing exist. that actually in Harris County, the reason why you got all those long lines and people showing up everywhere is because they have early voting centers, even on election day. So no matter where you are in that county, you can go and vote. You don't have to be at an assigned specific precinct level polling place. That is two different stories of two different counties in the same state. These, what people consider are general rules, these rules are very disenfranchising, very obstructionist, and very problematic for voters. And then you add on any mistake by the county where they don't have the list up right, they don't have the centers up right, they make the mistakes of putting the wrong addresses, no signs, then it goes even worse.
We're gonna pick up on that when we come forward. We're live with Barbara Armwine, and you're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More on what's happening on the ground in Texas as we speak, as all eyes are on this Texas U.S. Senate race between Representative Jasmine Crockett and Mr. Tallarico. More on that when we come forward right here on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic tax relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, in for Jesse Jackson Jr., and really enjoying this conversation with our very own Barbara R. Armline, who is on the ground in Texas today. All eyes on Texas, particularly the U.S. Senate race between Representative Jasmine Crockett and Mr. Tallarico. Barbara, I want to ask you how things are looking for Representative Crockett. We know part of the reason why so many eyes are on this U.S. Senate race is because Representative Crockett, in some Democratic circles, people have questioned whether or not she's viable. You know, if she makes it to this primary, is the state of Texas going to support, are they going to make history and support a Black woman as their U.S. Senator? She seems to have been beating back the odds, punching above her weight class. Tallarico has certainly raised more money than she has, but there seems to be an enthusiasm gap that is working in her favor. Is that enthusiasm gap true, and is it holding on Election Day?
It seems to be very true, and it seems to be holding. What most people don't know, because all you're hearing is the conventional wisdom and the gossip in the street. The actual polling data shows that if her opponent, depending on who her opponent is, if it's Cronin, she is only like 1 point behind him, whereas Tallarico is more points behind than her. The same if her opponent is, Paxton, she is still more likely to beat him than Tallarico. And I don't know why people don't know this. I think it's because of the propaganda that has been put out about her. Plus, I hate to say it, the stereotypes about Black people. Well, Black women can't win, which has only gotten deeper with the Harris defeat. Even though you have Black women elected to the Senate, new Black women elected to the U.S. Senate during the last election in 2024. So I think, it's a whole lot of racial mythology, racial stereotyping going on, but it's also some purposeful misdirection in propaganda. And if you're a candidate, you're going to always say, I'm going to do better than somebody else. But the polling data actually says she's the stronger of the two candidates. The interesting thing that I love about this election is you're seeing a turnout like you've never seen before, especially among Democrats. I'm just saying what the facts are, folks. The Democratic turnout is amazing. It's way above anything anybody's seen. In fact, it beats Obama levels. Right now, think about this. Her Black vote count, her total vote count at this moment is more than what Obama got in 2012. How did that happen? That's just amazing.
It happened with some good old-fashioned organizing.
Right, thank you.
A candidate that has been able to cut through the noise and be able to speak directly to the sensibilities of everyday people. connecting the dots to not just what's happening overseas or what's happening in Washington, but what's happening at people's kitchen tables. I want to bring in Bishop Joseph W. Tolton into the conversation. He's founder of Interconnected Justice. He's a former senior advisor for global and religious affairs at the U.S. State Department and a frequent contributor on my afternoon drive time show, More Perfect Union. Bishop Tolton, welcome to the show.
It's very good to be with you today, Dr. Nee, and blessings to you, my dear sister Barbara.
Thank you.
It's great to have you both here. Bishop, when we talk often, you have been very diligent in educating our audience around the rise of white Christian nationalism. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what a potential win for Representative Jasmine Crockett in today's primary in Texas, what that might mean, what blow that might strike to this rise in white Christian nationalism, particularly in a state like Texas.
Well, as we all know, Democrats have been lusting over the Lone Star State for quite some time, and for several different election cycles, believing that this was the election cycle. But here we go, and I actually believe that this possibly could be the election cycle. And of course, our sister Barbara has given us some very credible reasons as to why. The interesting thing about a win, particularly a Jasmine Crockett win, is that in the heart of the Bible Belt, in the heart of the seat of white Christian nationalism, would emerge a towering figure that embodies a force of liberative justice that will break through this anti-Black faith-based religious ideology that's driving politics in the state of Texas. And she will have a critical voice and be able to mitigate, interrupt, and push back from the perspective of one who comes seasoned and informed, empowered, and supported, not just by the African-American community, but I believe by the African-American political sensibilities that were in many parts delivered by not only the civil rights movement, but the Black church at large, which is critical in this hour.
And I appreciate that. And in all fairness, we know that there's another candidate in this race, Mr.
Yes.
Talarico, who is a state representative in Texas. He has raised more money than Representative Crockett in this race, but it doesn't seem that he's been able to catch up to the enthusiasm that's been whipping up, not just in Texas, but across the country around Representative Jasmine Crockett's win. There are a number of folks who are saying that it's a toss-up, that either one of them could be victorious when every single ballot is counted in this race. Ms. Barbara, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about, what happens if State Representative Talarico is victorious. What does that mean for the coalition that Representative Crockett has been able to assemble across the Lone Star State and across the country? Are you confident that Democrats in Texas will be united in the march to general election, no matter what happens tonight?
It's fascinating. We have been, my organization has been on the nonpartisan side, actually canvassing all over Harris County. And here's what we're hearing from voters. We're hearing, one, that when you ask them why are they voting, they said that they're mad. They're so mad at one President Trump, it doesn't make good sense. They're angry about what he's done. They're angry about what they see the unfair treatment of Houston by the state. They're angry about, about the what they see as people not standing up for them. And what they love about Crockett that we're hearing is that they see her as a fighter.
Yes.
That's what we keep hearing. That she'll fight for us. We love that she'll fight for us. That sentiment appears to have been taken over by some whites. I think I saw that she was getting 30% of the white vote. But in any event, I mean, she is, and Tallarico, have you guys noticed something that you haven't heard in this whole election that you hear every darn time a black face appears anywhere else? And that is, who's the most qualified?
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that the issue of qualifications has not been talked about? But I think that, a whole lot of folks realize that she actually, if you want to look at federal elective experience, if you want to look at many other factors, she is much more highly qualified. And I'm just saying that objectively. Tallarico has been fighting like hell in the state, legislature, but he's not as progressive on some issues as she is. So in any event, people got to vote for whoever they believe they got to vote for. My whole issue is, don't sit back on your couch. Don't sit around talking about what you would have done, could have done. Just vote. Vote whatever your conscience is. But do vote for the person you think is going to best represent you. I had one experience today that I just loved. I saw a black woman who's probably in her late 80s. She was on a walker, and I saw her in her neighborhood. And I said, have you voted? And she said, of course I voted. And she was on her walker, and she said, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And I said, go on, sister, tell me about it, because that is the bottom line.
Yeah, and there is a lot to critique these days in this country and around the world. As we sit here, there are reports that President Trump has shared a new reason.
Oh, he's come up with another excuse.
Why the U.S. has attacked Iran. NPR is reporting that President Trump today said that the United States began striking Iran over the weekend because the country was going to attack first. That's what he said. His remarks in the Oval Office came on day four of a war for which the U.S. and Israeli officials have offered a variety of reasons and objectives. The war has now widened to include more parts of the Middle East, with Iranian drones striking the U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia, and Israel now deploying ground forces in Lebanon. Hear me say this again. Day 4, Israel is deploying ground forces into Lebanon. The U.S. and Israel have kept up their attack in Iran. The death toll has already risen to 787 souls. 787 souls. That's according to the Iranian Red Crescent Society. The war's killed 6 U.S. service members, according to the Pentagon, which is warning that more casualties, not less, more casualties are expected. It's also worth noting that 10 people in Israel have died since Iran began the retaliation with their missile attack. And so something that was supposed to be short and sweet, that's what they were selling. It's going to be short and sweet, is looking like anything but a short and sweet military intervention. I want to remind people that former Vice President Kamala Harris, in her statement, within hours after this military action took place, referred to this as a war of choice. A war of choice for President Trump and folks who have been supporting the call for a military attack on Iran, folks like Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. When we come forward, Bishop and Miss Barbara, I want to talk about how this military intervention, how this attack on Iran, how this might play into today's election in Texas and into the Democratic primaries across the country. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Gas prices are climbing, but President Trump says the spike will be temporary and expects costs to drop once Operation Epic Fury ends.
As soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
AAA reports the national average for regular gas rose 11 cents to $3.10 as U.S. military operations continue against Iran. The Supreme Court has blocked a ruling that would have required Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis' district to be redrawn. Lower court said it weakened Black and Latino voting power, but Justice Samuel Alito disagreed. And wildfire survivors in Los Angeles are asking Congress to step in as investors buy up damaged properties in Altadena and Pacific Palisades. Residents warn the buying spree could price out locals and reshape communities, including the historically Black neighborhood in Altadena. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Middle East conflict between the United States and Iran has generated major concerns in the women's basketball community here in the U.S. 3 former players from the University of South Carolina, including Destiny Littleton, who played 1 season at USC here in L.A., are trapped in Jerusalem, where they are playing in a professional league. Since the conflict started on Saturday, air travel in and out of Jerusalem and throughout Israel has been shut down. Because Israel joined the U.S. in the battle against Iran, Iran has been firing missiles into Israel. Littleton posted a message on social media on Monday saying she could hear bombs falling in the distance. She and the 2 other U.S. players are staying at a teammate's house and staying indoors. The players and other U.S. citizens are stuck in Israel until commercial air travel resumes, and that could be a while. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the Art of Conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, in for Jesse Jackson Jr. And I'm really delighted to be in conversation with two extraordinary guests today. I'm talking about Bishop Joseph W. Tolton. He is founder of Interconnected Justice. He's also a former senior advisor for religious and global affairs at the U.S. State Department. We're also joined by Representative. Look at me electing you to office. by attorney Barbara Armwine, who is no stranger here to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. She is president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and she's known for her internationally renowned contributions to advancing justice issues, including sections of the Voting Rights Act. Now, we know the Voting Rights Act has been under attack for some time. Know that part of what we are seeing on the ground as permissible in the state of Texas is in part because of the chipping away of the Voting Rights Act. We also know that if Democrats are able to flip that seat in Texas in November, that'll be one more U.S. senator on the right side of protecting and preserving and enhancing that Voting Rights Act. Before we went to break, we were talking about the military attack, the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran, something that President Trump and senior government officials said was going to be quick and looking like it will. It's nowhere close to being quick. This is not going to be resolved anytime soon. Bishop Tolton, I want to go to you first. I want to go to you to help connect the dots between what we're looking at right now, what we should keep our eye on, and what impact this might have in U.S. elections like the one taking place today in the state of Texas.
Dr. Nee, when foreign policy becomes prophecy, diplomacy dies. There's been a lot of conversation about why we were in the midst of diplomatic talks that potentially could have brought a deal that was even stronger than the deal that President Obama got. The reason that those talks were undermined is because there is a greater force at play here. And that is the ways in which white Christian nationalism is informing and driving our foreign policy. Christian nationalism is not generic Christianity. It is a political ideology that argues that America is divinely chosen. It is an ideology that argues that U.S. power is ordained by God. It is an ideology that argues that foreign policy should always align with biblical prophecy. You have someone in Mike Johnson who is the Speaker of the House, who says that he is a Christian first and then a representative second. And what that means is that his understanding of apocalyptic biblical theology is driving what's happening here in terms of our foreign policy. The Bible in Ezekiel 38 and 39 talks about an enemy from the north that will come and attack Israel in the latter days, and that this will be the breadcrumbs that lead to the second coming of Jesus Christ. All of this is informing and driving our foreign policy. This is driven by an idea that we have to sanctify Israel and make it ready for the second coming of Jesus Christ. This is not being driven by a rational understanding of geopolitics in the 21st century. And going back to your question about how this can impact the race on the ground in Texas, I think that it's another opportunity for voters, and particularly Texans, to see a clear choice that they have to make. Are we going to go down a road where we actually are thinking rationally and reasonably and are engaged with our allies in making decisions that are driven by the ideals of democracy? Or is our foreign policy going to be captured by an extremist version and understanding of Christianity? And if in fact we go down that road, we have to be clear that the ways in which we are exercising a heavy hand on the ground in Iran right now is reflective of our desire for Christian nationalism to use police force to actually control and conform American citizens to their particular social way of life and their political ideology. These things are intimately connected. ICE crushing us at home and the U.S. Army crushing Iran abroad. This is white Christian nationalism dominating geopolitical politics and seeking to conform American citizenry to a specific social ideology.
I mean, Bishop Tolton. Woo! Did he not just lay that thing out? And this is why we love you and we appreciate you so much. And having conversations with you, are such an education, a rich education every time, because those are the dots that we need to connect. What's happening in Iran is not divorced from what's happening in Minneapolis. It's not.
Absolutely.
Right. But we can't stop there because we all still have agency. And I think this administration likes to benefit off of creating this sense of this atmosphere of inevitability.
Yes.
Right? They want us to think that because the president wants it to happen, whatever he wills, that's just the way that it is. And that's not the way it works based on our Constitution. That's not the way it works in a healthy democracy. And so, Ms. Barbara, I want to ask you about messaging. We know that Democrats have done well in these off-year elections, really focusing on some of the bread and butter issues, focusing on affordability, focusing on healthcare, focusing in on public safety. And more specifically, sort of reining in the rogue ICE agency. Talk to us about how this war with Iran factors into that message wheel that has been working very well for Democrats. I mean, they really haven't lost many elections, certainly not the high-profile ones in terms of off-year elections. What's your sense of how Democrats should message this, not just on the ground in Texas, but across the country?
Well, I mean, this war is a problem for the GOP. First of all, it once again brings to the forefront this do-nothing Congress, because the power to declare war is that of the Congress. The fact that they keep abdicating and abandoning their authority under the Constitution is a problem. So many people are saying, listen, if they won't do their jobs, then we need people who will. If they don't understand what their role is under the government and under the Constitution, and they're not willing to hold this administration accountable, then we will. I mean, think about it. If there had been a congressional debate about a war declaration, what would have happened? All these people who are stranded in the Middle East, stranded in Israel itself, come on now. All these people would have gotten warnings way in advance to get the H out of that region, right? We always do that when we're getting ready to have a war. We always, in advance, tell our citizens to get home, to get away from those areas of conflict. So the fact that we're reading about all these people is horrible, all over the place, stranded in Saudi Arabia, stranded in Israel, stranded in all of, in Qatar, all these places that are being hit. The second thing is would there not have been some real talk about what unintended consequences there might be? The president says that he never saw the fact that Iran would attack other nations, other Middle East nations with drones, and he never saw that. He never saw them launching missiles. I mean, that would have been talked about, folks, as what is one of the unintended consequences. There would have been a lot more scrutiny over how this military performed. The fact that they killed children, hit a school, the first strike hit a school and killed children and wounded hundreds of children, that would have just been, HESEP would have to come to Congress and justify that kind of incompetence. I mean, there's so much about this war that, when you look at it, there would have been better preparation, better accountability, and our citizens would be protected. This is out of control because you have a president that listens to the wrong people, as Bishop Tolton just said, and you had a president who just likes to warmonger. And he somehow thinks that, playing toy soldiers is the way to win world domination, and he's wrong. We got Iraq. You could have called some George Bush, right? Talk about what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq. You got to have people talk about these consequences. What does it mean to destabilize one of the largest countries in the Middle East?
Yeah.
What makes you think there's going to be a democracy in its place? I mean, all of these issues should have been talked about and still must be talked about. Congress, do your job or just get out, because the people are going to put you out. They're not going to vote for this.
When we come forward, final thoughts from Attorney Barbara Armline and Bishop Joseph Tolton. We're receiving reports that voters in predominantly Black and Latino parts of Texas, like Dallas, were being turned away from polling places. Some upset voters speaking to the press there. We're going to get their final thoughts on that when we come forward. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in Black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized. The families who watched their inheritance disappear. The wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail, and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the Art of Conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to
You are
me.
listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your host, and our friend brother Jesse Jackson Jr. I want to play this clip for you from our friends over at C-SPAN, featuring Secretary Marco Rubio, and we'll talk more about it on the other side. Take a listen.
Does Congress have to weigh in? Does Congress have to weigh in? Is the president declaring war, and does Congress have to weigh in? And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent threat?
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen, and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
The U.S. was forced to strike because of an impending Israeli action?
No, let me two things I would say. Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
That was Secretary Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, saying that this had to happen. A lot of folks would beg to differ, including former Vice President Kamala Harris, among other folks on Capitol Hill, including Senator Mark Warner of Virginia. We know that within the hour, ABC News is reporting that Trump is saying that he forced Israel's hand on Iran and says that Iran was going to attack the U.S. first. The president denied that Israel forced his hand into attacking Iran. And in another new explanation, said that he ordered the U.S. strike on Iran because he concluded that Tehran was going to attack the U.S. first after negotiations stalled. We've been talking a lot about the military strike on Iran, the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, which is already impacting the region. It's already impacting oil prices. It's already animating voters in primary elections across the country, including one that's taking place here in Texas. Before the break, Bishop, I was asking you what if you had any final thoughts that you wanted to share with us as we sort through this mess.
One of the things I think is so important for our viewers to be aware of is this tension between Rubio and President Trump with regard to who's coming out when, engineering a different reason, moving the goalposts as it relates to why we're actually engaged. Rubio at one point said it's because they were going to require nukes and because we had to disarm their Navy. And now, of course, what has come out is we did this because we understood that Israel was going to attack. And if Israel attacked, they would attack us. And then, of course, that was undermined by what you just said, because the president came out and said, no, I didn't do this because Israel pushed me to do it. I did it on my own, and I kind of let Israel do it. Okay, so who's on first and what's on second? This is obviously very reminiscent of a few weeks ago with Tulsi Gabbard. Who sent her? Did the president send her? Oh, no, Tulsi sent herself. Oh, no, we think it was Pam Bondi who sent her, right? So this is the game that they play. But what I think it's important for Democrats to lift up, and I want to quickly go back to the most sinister and insulting ad run by Trump in his run-up to the last election. And it was this ad which suggested that Kamala Harris was going to be focused on trans people and gender non-conforming people, them, and he was going to be focused on you. It's time to resurrect that language and speak back to the American people. It was a lie. He is not focused on your vote. He's not focused on your voice. He's not focused on your upward mobility. He's not focused on your participation in the economy. He's not focused on your safety. He is focused on grifting. He's focused on power grabbing. He's focused on placing his name on as many different places or institutions as possible for his long-term being etched into the volumes of history. He is not focused on you. The Democrats are focused on you. I think that that has to be a clear message which weaves together his imperial meddling as well as his being completely asleep at the wheel regarding domestic issues.
Attorney Barbara Arnwine, in our remaining minutes, in about a minute and a half, tell us what we should expect as returns come in tonight in Texas and other key races across the country. And what's next for Texas when we wake up in the morning?
Well, regardless of all the shenanigans that are happening at some of the polling places, I just wanted to be very clear that you're going to see a record Democratic voter turnout. This is a Democratic primary. You're seeing a record turnout. I also want to be very clear that, did you hear what Mr. Rubio said? He said a year from now, they might have had that kind of capability. That means he had time to take it to Congress, folks. Mm-hmm. Come on now. He didn't say they had the capability now. He said a year from now. Folks, we got to get in these streets. I hope I will see you all on March 28th for No Kings 3. No kings, no crowns, no thrones, no despots, no tyrants. It's time for us to keep voting and keep winning and drive them like they said they're going crazy in Texas. Drive them crazy because we're coming for them, because we demand as the people that we have a government that works for us, not for them.
We'll have to leave it there. My thanks to Attorney Barbara Arnwine and Bishop Joseph W. Tolton, founder of Interconnected Justice. I want to thank both of you for helping us separate from the fact from the fiction. Lots of fiction, but I'm glad that our KBLA audience can lean on us, and we're rely on the Black press to be able to make sense out of all of this. You've been listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, and we'll see you tomorrow.